All right, guys, well, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be starting on this two-man Kalash. I bought this layout boat from a guy that lives down the road from me. He's about 80-something years old, and he had this Kalash for a really long time. I didn't know it was a Kalash when I bought it. I just bought it because it was a cheap two-man layout boat that I could work on, and I really wanted to have something for replacing the one-man, but as well as having my son hunt with me and be able to hunt two guys at the same time instead of having two layout boats side by side. So we're going to get into this. I've already done a little bit of work, so I'll show you guys what I've done. All right, so basically what I've done is I've sanded all the spots that I know are going to be subject to water, which is like the nose of this and then the sides. So I'm going to go up about 8 inches on both sides, and then I'm going to come almost to the foot pocket here on the front. And I've also sanded the bottom, as you can tell. And so all the way around it, it's been sanded, and we're just gonna start prepping it for fiberglass. So I need to blow this off. I'm probably gonna wipe it, and then we'll start getting some fiberglass cut and marked around here. And then I'm gonna wait until tomorrow morning to lay it when it's warmer so that it dries better. I don't wanna do it right now because it's cold, it's dark outside, and I don't want it to take forever to set up. So we're gonna do all this in the morning, but I am gonna cut the fiberglass right now and start getting it laid out. So what we've got here is a gigantic sheet of woven fiberglass. So what I'm essentially gonna do is see how far it is to wrap around. Like I wanna wrap around about 4 inches here and then go up about 8. So then I'm gonna find that spot and just cut this all the way down, so that I can just take it, contour it, run it all the way around, and then I can lay my fiberglass resin on here and start smoothing it out. And it's gonna make everything a lot more seamless as I go through this. I got this big sheet because if I needed more, I wanted to be able to have it, but I also wanted a big enough sheet that I can cover large areas and especially the whole side. So I think this is 12 foot. And the boat itself is like 11, so it'll wrap all the way around, and I don't have to worry about using like little 2-foot pieces or whatever and stringing it all the way around. So the more seamless that this is, the better I'm gonna have I'll have a better chance of it being waterproof. So I'm trying to keep it as uniform as possible on these long pieces, and then wherever I have to kind of weave it in, I can do that. So yeah, Amazon purchase on this, and the resin is open. Alright, so it is on there on this side. It is not the prettiest, but the fiberglass work that I've done in the past, this will hold up, so it'll be all right. So there were some spots like back here in this corner, it turned sharp, so I just had to like kind of notch it to pull it back. And then there's going to be a spot back here around the hook that I'll just do on its own, and then we'll do the other side. We also need to do the front. I'm going to do probably the same. I'm going to wrap this, and then I'm going to go around the side. And then I think up here, I'm just gonna do fiberglass resin if I have some left. I've probably used, I don't know, half of that, but I have some extra left over from doing the front there. So that was a lot of work. That was a lot more than I was anticipating. And we're gonna let this dry, just kind of see how it sets up. And we'll probably move over to the other side. And then once this is all dry, we're gonna paint everything. I'm gonna do kind of like a gray with green swirl with some black in it. And that's just because most of the water down here is muddy. Most of the water is not gray where this would like fit in real well. But also with the waves crashing, it kind of gives off like this white black hue. So I don't want to do anything that's going to just be a flat color like the previous boat. I want to kind of swirl it and make it more of a lake camo. So we'll see how it turns out, but right now I'm gonna let this dry. We'll check back in a little bit. All right, this side dried up nice. on to round 2. So we're going to try and get all the way back, the same corner here. Hopefully make everything just as smooth, if not a little better. Know what happened, but this stuff got real hot real quick, and so I kind of had to boogie there to get all of it on. I think the underside is going to be kind of messed up, so what I'm planning on doing is just leaving it dry. The top looks good. Once that's dry, then I'll go under, and I probably will have to grind down some of it and put another layer on the bottom there. I don't really understand what happened there. I did the same ratio that I did earlier and it all came out fine. So this is what it looks like. Looks just like the other side, and then this bottom, some of it's peeling, but it got so hot that it just started clumping up and I don't know what happened. So we're gonna let this dry. We'll see what the aftermath is and then just go from there. All right, so we got this side finished up. It is a little wavy here on the bottom, but I'm gonna put it in the water and just see if that even matters, and then I can grind it down. There are some some spots here where it got a little too hard, but I can grind all that down, sand it, and paint it. So I'm not too concerned about it, but we're gonna get this in the water. Yeah? And we're gonna see what happens. All right, it's very buoyant. Hoping there was 2 people in there that it brings it down, but we're not gonna have any issues with it floating, it looks like, so pretty good. All right, so we've completed the float test on the boat. I am gonna sand this down a little bit. We have some paint. I'm gonna rattle can it green in the spots that I did the fiberglass, just to make everything uniform and green. And then we're gonna start putting some brown splotches in, some black, and we're just gonna kind of break it up a little bit so it looks a little nicer on the water and not just a big old green blob pumpkin seed. So we're gonna get this thing all dialed in and start with sanding, go from there. All right, so we've got the green down, and honestly, this green darker than what it was makes it look a lot better. I was concerned that green would stick out too much, and I think that it was just a lighter shade of green than I wanted. So it's good to see that this darker green is actually going to be closer to like the gray or a dark gray that I would want. So then we're just going to take a little bit of brown after I touch up some spots with the second can of green that I have. We're going to do some brown, some black, just kind of mix it in. And that'll help break it up like in the waves. If you're out on the lake and you look at like a choppy day, it's not, even if it's flat calm, the colors will break up the layout boat itself. But I mean, when you got waves and they're chopping and like you even got a little ripple, it doesn't look this flat and blobby. So we're gonna get just a little bit in there just to kind of mix it up and hopefully blend this thing in. But with the paint job, this thing just looks so much better. It's insane. I can't believe it's turning out this good. I'm really excited to get this thing in the water. We've got anchors coming, or anchor line coming this weekend, and cleats and handles, so it'll be easier to get this thing off the trailer and into the water. And then I'm gonna need a cleat that I can hook up to actually pull it. So that's coming this weekend as well, and we'll get everything done. We're probably not gonna use this boat for a couple weeks, so it's not a big deal, but I'm gonna throw the floor in right now, and then I'm gonna get this thing situated on the trailer. And while it dries, I'm probably gonna call it a night. So pretty excited about this. Looking at just some gray to kind of be waves. I'm going to take some tape and tape off the back of each of these little waves and then do the black paint so it gives them some dimension. I've also got the holes drilled for the cleat, and I've got handles that are going to go pretty much about like here on both sides and then in the back so you can get it off the trailer and carry it easily. And then over here I put these little D-rings here so that we can get this cradle around the motor for the tow rope so that it hangs off the back and kind of points around it. But that'll mount here and then on the front cleat there. All right, so I came out here, I painted these black lines on the back side of the gray waves. I completely forgot to film it, but this is the final product here. So as you can see, everything's dried around the canvas, the green, the new dark green. The inside's still like the lighter green, but there's gonna be people in there, so it shouldn't matter. And then I just kind of arbitrarily made some gray waves, and I thought that the black on the back side of it would kind of give the impression of the ripple and just make them stand out a little bit more. So I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I also got the front cleat on and the new rope on the winch. So what I really need to do is just on the bottom side of the trailer, level everything out so that I can be able to strap this down a little bit better. And she should be ready to roll. I'm pretty excited. This thing turned out really nice. And for being a original Kalash, as I'm told, you know, wood, fiberglass, this thing, it's heavy, but I'm super excited to be able to use this and then be able to tie off here, tow it behind the boat, and everything should be pretty smooth. I'm really looking forward to getting this thing in the water. All right, so that's gonna do it for this video. We got through pretty much everything on this boat except the trailer. I'm gonna take care of that another time, but I really just wanted to show the process of restoring this boat, doing the fiberglass, doing the paint, and getting this thing ready to go on the water. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Too Many Hobbies podcast, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.